Hi, it's Steve from Texas 10, and I'm here with this week's History Minute. You know, sometimes Texas history intersects with national history. Occasionally it intersects with world history, and in this week it intersects with universal history. On July 20th, 1969, Neil Armstrong stepped on the lunar surface, and his first word was Houston. And we're familiar with Houston, we have a problem from the Apollo 13 movie. Actually, his first words as the module landed was, Houston, Eagle has landed. That was the first words transmitted from the lunar surface. And that was appropriate because Texas played such an outsized role in the Apollo space program. In fact, the whole thing got really started in 1962, I believe it was, at a speech that President Kennedy gave at Rice University. And there he said that he laid down the challenge to get to the moon by the end of the decade, which was sort of unbelievable from where we were. It was a bold challenge, and he specifically referenced Texas and Houston as sort of indicative of why we could accomplish such a bold challenge. Specifically, he said, we meet at a college noted for knowledge, in a city noted for innovation, in a state noted for strength, and we need all three. And there, 7 years later, his dream came to fruition. So that's just a remarkable story. You can't tell it in a minute or 5 minutes or 10 minutes. There's obviously all sorts of material. If you want to learn a little bit more about our trips to the moon and how we got there, I'd recommend Carrying the Fire by Michael Collins, who was the pilot while all of this was going on, and Failure is Not an Option by Gene Kranz, who is the mission director made famous in Apollo 13. Both of those are great books about the space program, along with, of course, Tom Wolfe's The Right Stuff. So look at all of that. And in this week's Texas birthday, a shout out for a man born on July 16th, Max McGee. Now, that's an old-time name that football fans may or may not remember. Max McGee was from Overton, Texas. He was the first person in U.S. history to run for 3,000 yards in a season, but his later fame and broader fame came because he was a great receiver for the Green Bay Packers. He had an outstanding career, but by the time the Super Bowl came around, Super Bowl I, he was at the tail end of that career. So Max was always a partier. He was sort of a second stringer by that point, not really expecting to see much action in the game, and legend goes that he sort of rolled in as the team bus was getting ready to leave, got to the stadium, was just sitting on the bench, and Boyd Dollar got hurt. Max came into the game, 7 catches, 135 yards, and 2 touchdowns, and he was a star again. Went on after, because of his colorful personality, he was actually a very successful restaurateur, became the color man for the Green Bay Packers for a long time. So shout out, happy birthday to a great Texas football legend, Max McGee. Join us next week on Texas History Minutes for more Texas history and birthdays. And in the meantime, make sure you like, share, subscribe, do all those social media things, and go to texas10.com. Thanks so much.